Back to Elo Health GitGud Season 5, where we are watching the console tournament at the moment. We've just had a very great matchup between Kaibait and the Groovy Gang, but now we go over to Karnage versus Synergy for a very, very nice matchup to be awaiting us in the next few games. I will be your play-by-play caster, Billy. With me is Chef Billy on the color seat. And Billy, we should be having one more very great match ahead of us.
I mean, if our last match was anything to go off of, I think that we are in for another barn burner here. I'm looking forward to seeing what we see from these two teams, Karnage and Synergy, both on 3,100 averages. So a little bit lower down in the SR pool, but I think that the entertainment value will still be there. I want to see who's going to come out on the top here. I've heard a lot about Super Destroyer from my old league of CGL, and I really want to see what the hype around this DPS player is.
Those are going to be the questions here on who's going to be the pop-off player and who's going to be just the very controlled and by the book. And it's going to be a question as well as what these teams are going to be bringing out. Are we going to be seeing more double shield? Are we going to see more variety? Will your favorite dive be coming on out? Will my favorite Reinhardt be coming on out? These are questions that we ask every single time that we get to cast.
Absolutely. I mean, double shield has been very prominent today. We did see dive come out, though, from both teams on the final map of the series, with Kaibei taking the 3-2 win. And just absolutely crushing it. 99-0 and pulling it all the way back to 199. 2-1 map 5 victory, going the entire full distance. And yeah, as we get into Nepal here, we're going to start out on Village. And we're going to get a chance to see what kind of compositions are going to be coming out from both of the teams here. We have seen some May Reaper today. We've seen a Pharah come out on this map as well. Looking for what kind of synergy both teams are going to have with each other here. That's going to be my biggest question, is who's going to get to the point first, and how are they going to assert their point presence to be able to keep the wall of invaders out?
That is going to be a prime question to have to deal with. Already also seeing a Sombra getting teased. I would like that player to come on through, but that's always the question. At the very least, my Reinhardt is happy. My Reinhardt, to be specific. Seeing two Reinhardts on the board, I mean, I always love the German Crusader coming out to play.
2, 1.
I mean, who doesn't? I mean, good shielding, good fire strikes abilities. Looking at that, you know, I really like seeing Reinhardt come out here. I mean, close quarter brawls absolutely made for the German Crusader. Also bringing the Zarya and Reaper will be what is the flavor of the day.
Zarya indeed as well, giving that Reinhardt the opportunity to really aggress into the enemy team. Nice usage of the corner here from Resident Khan on the red Reinhardt. Though Super Destroyer gets into the backline, gets a nice dash off, gets a lot of chunk damage potential now taken out. Synergy is going to grab the point first. With this May as well, even if you lose that damage, the Super Destroyer once again is dashing through the enemy team, picking up the second DPS as the hack comes in onto the Reinhardt. No opportunity to shield us enough. Your 2 basic comes back on the Reaper, manages to pick up one, picks up the second. Karnage not really finding the value that they want, as your 2 basic is just rolling through the enemy team, and Synergy is up to 25% of the point.
Absolutely. I mean, even what you're seeing coming out of Karnage, you know, the DPS duo almost both have their ultimates. As a matter of fact, almost have all their ultimates all the way across the board. But on the other side, the Reaper pick right now, I think, is what is giving Karnage the most headache right now. Just getting that chunk damage in, getting the armor and everything else down from the tanks, and just whittling down nothing and allowing their DPS, the other DPS, to just roll through them.
Gonna be coalescences for either side. He finds 5 and his Shatter finds even more. That's Karnage bringing the Karnage, getting 3 kills. Your 2 basic though manages to still get a trade out. The point still has not flipped. but the last few stragglers from Synergy are just gonna get cleared up as Resident Khan just tries to bring someone along for the ride and will not manage.
Yeah, but what an expensive fight that was. That cost them 3 ultimates into it, and just not enough real value. I mean, what are you going to do for the next fight? That's what you have to be thinking here. And as they start to swarm the members of Karnage right now, this is just going to be a feeding frenzy for all involved. Really just using the Blizzard and then the Graviton Surge into the Blizzard is going to clear them out, and you're going to have 3 ultimates, the Shatter and the Blossom, to defend against this ingress coming from Karnage. And looking at May here, looking to wall off the tanks, or at least one of the tanks, to be able to chunk them down fast.
Gonna beat Karnage trying to get back with this wall is going to deny Poppysop's approach entirely. As Charge to clear that one and out, so once again you've got Synergy with the advantage in numbers. As the rest comes on through, we've got Super Destroyer coming in on the back. Your 2 basic has the Death Blossom at the ready. Poppysop has though picked up both of the supports from Synergy, who are now up to 99% on the point. Overtime is not going to burn down as Karnage manages to still flip this point.
Indeed, and you invested the Death Blossom into that fight. Okay, it didn't really work. So back to the drawing board. You still have the Shatter and the Sound Barrier available. You almost have another Blizzard available. You're going to have to watch out for Mikey P's EMP, though. But Robo may be able to flip the entire thing on its head with the well-timed Coalescence.
The question is, Mikey P had the EMP, didn't commit that one right there. Still has it up and ready. Coalescence for Synergy comes on out. EMP finds 3. Once again, the Shadow Super Destroyer comes in with the barrows, but this is just after the Sound Barrier. Nobody gets picked off over that. Synergy has managed to flip the point. As Mikey P manages to get the 1 kill, it is now a fight once again in favor of Karnage. A 5v6, make that a 4v6. But Wolf will be the next to drop. Absolute Helmet has the Blizzard at the ready, but will be not there with the rest of the team to bring this point to a close. Though with that flip, the point percentage for Karnage is just not going up, and is still at 50%.
Indeed, and I mean, the Blizzard just came online for Absolute Helmet, so that's going to be a win condition for them to flip this point over. Also, there is no counter right now for Super Destroyer. Both DPS sticking with the Reaper and May, respectively. The only thing really counting them is Bravo on this Moira, and maybe a little bit from Immense Gore on the Zarya. So, not a lot being done to deal with the aerial threat.
Be attempted, but no, that's going to be Hooded Wolf indeed getting taken out. Blizzard straight onto point. The Super Destroyer has picked up both of the supports once again. Resident Khan tries to bring it on around, and EMP picks up 3, and with the Gravitic Flux, that will be Karnage once again clearing it on out. We are at last fight territory. It's going to be a question whether Synergy can still make it back to point.
That's a very good question indeed. I think that Hooded Wolf will probably be able to get in. Nope. As I said, he gets deleted. That is cast first instantaneous.
Oh,
nope. What a rock!
Boogie just being the boogeyman and just clearing out the support team before they can even have a chance to make it back to the point. And if this first village point is anything to go off of, this should be one hell of a matchup.
Absolutely, and I mean, there's a bit of stubbornness coming from Synergy. They're not dealing with the Pharah. And if you're going to play like that all match, unfortunately, despite everything else that you're throwing onto the point, if you're not going to deal with the aerial threat and also being able to scout for Mikey P on this Sombra, it's going to be a very short day as they are getting immense value. There was 2 big EMPs into the fights there, and they won both fights on the backs of those EMPs and barrages.
Capture the objective.
Indeed, as we go over to Shrine, Karnage still indeed on the Sombra. Synergy very much still a brawly, though Absolute Helmet now on the Echo. Interesting pick to bring on out for this fight. Super Destroyer is going to have a little bit more trouble, though. Not if Absolute Helmet already gets taken out immediately. I can be finding these early picks are very crucial for these fights. So you have once again this 4v6 fight as your 2 basic also gets dropped. Even with the rock to the face of Poppysop, this is Synergy forced out of the point.
Absolutely. I mean, once again, Mikey P getting so much value onto this Sombra, allowing Super Destroyer to get a lot of ultimate charge as well going into it. I mean, they are just pushed up almost to the corner of Synergy's spawn is Karnage, and Poppy Sop is going to have a Earth Shatter to deny the aggression coming in from Synergy as they come around these corners.
You're too basic on the legs, and the Synergy indeed trying to find their approach, still having to deal with the Pharah from on a high. Full Helmet already getting hacked once again, having to deal with the Sombra just being a nuisance. Is that once again we get a bit of a trade. Super Destroyer drops, but once again Mikey P gets a kill. The Shadow comes down along with the Coalescence. That is Karnage just rolling through Synergy for a nice and quick team kill gong.
Absolutely, and I mean that was two well-timed, well-stacked ultimates coming from Karnage. The Shatter enabling the Coalescence to absolutely burn everybody, and Mikey P playing with fire there, maybe really putting it into the backs of the heads that, oh my gosh, there's a Sombra here. This EMP, if placed properly, could be huge. Dealt with this barrage.
Just looming over the heads of Synergy, though there is indeed a fight coming on through. Mikey P still has the EMP, does not choose to commit it. Synergy now with an opportunity to try and push in, but the choose not to. Resident Khan gets taken out, the rest comes on through. Karnage still holding on to the point, we're now up to 80%.
Absolutely, I mean, they've got 3 bangers of ults online. And go ahead and using the Valkyrie right now to assist and really get some mobility out of this Mercy character. But I'm looking for the Gravitic Flux to deny the aggression coming in from Synergy on this right-hand side. That's a huge EMP. There's the Gravitic Flux. Down you go, fast as you like. Oh my goodness, what a massive play there.
Gravitic Flux still from Synergy to try and salvage anything that is still left. Coalescence trying to keep the Sigma alive, but with an accretion to the face, we're not going to be able to do much. Poppy Sop does not land the Shatter, but manages to bring Resident Khan along for the ride. And that is some Rhino charge mechanics for you right there.
Wow, that is fast as you like and decisive as you like. I'm sorry, just the wiggle and moves that I think he's zigged when he should have zagged, and he got stuck right into the pin. And they take it 2-0.
Resident Khan, I feel sorry for you. I know how it feels. Everyone knows how it feels. The vacuum that is the Rhine charge. It is a beauty to behold. But Karnage with a 2-0 victory on Nepal to open up this series with 1 point on the board for their side.
Absolutely. I think the DPS combo of Mikey P and the other, which I don't have in front of me right now, the Sombra / Soldier player, was absolutely just dominating. The hacks coming out of Mikey P, though, enabling and really facilitating all of the moves that were being made by not only the tanks, but also the support line, also the fellow Super Destroyer. I thought that was going to be the carry for the team, as I heard a lot about him in another league. But Mikey P on this Sombra right now, just absolutely dominating the day.
Very much being extremely dominating. Those EMPs, I would say especially in this bracket, can be so strong. Usually, our brackets, they get spotted out fairly well and played around. But using it actively like this and just keeping that Sombra on the board, it forces you in such a play style, especially if that EMP is online, to either play around it and try to stay safe, or allow them to get a 6-man EMP, which you also don't really want, because honestly, that is just a game-winning ultimate. That's a fight-winning ultimate. You get a 6-man EMP, you can do whatever you want with the enemy team, and you're most likely going to get some follow-up in an organized setting.
Absolutely, and I mean, even at this elo, if you get a 4-man EMP and you capture both supports in it, that's a game winner right there as well. I think that the tanks, unless you have like a Grav or a Gravitic Flux or a Shatter, really, anything else into that, I mean, you're really just hamstrung by that EMP. And, that's something that Karnage is going to really try to play off of here, I think, going through this series. Synergy is going to have to figure out some way to spy out where said Sombra is, maybe bringing a Torbjorn, the turret, once she comes out of concealment, auto lock, can't get the hack off if you're taking damage. So that is something that they could probably bring onto the field, or you can bring a Hanzo. Even though Hanzo not necessarily the best placed right now, but that Sonic Arrow would at least give you some kind of a clue as to where the Sombra would be coming from.
I mean, did get recently that a small amount of arrow damage added back up again. So a lot of burst damage potential still, but definitely indeed not the most common pick, the Hanzo. Next map is going to be Rialto. Very open map, a very common map we see in this series. We see Rialto coming around a fair amount of time. It does seem to be a player's favorite when it comes to the escort maps that we have available. Team swapping sides as well. Karnage is going to be on their attack initially. It's going to be up to them to get that full push, which, especially on that last one, we've seen it in earlier series, can be extremely difficult.
Indeed. I mean, we saw in our last map, coming down to the wire, trying to get just the first point, and then being able to push through and actually overwhelm a defense and actually take the win on the map. It can happen like that. The snowball potential here in Rialto can be very real. It just depends on where your defensive setups happen. Obviously, first point, you're going to try and prevent them from getting over the bridge. And if you decide to give up that, on the top of the hotel, the upper lobby of the hotel, the upper balcony of the hotel, provides really long sight lines, lending itself to either double sniper or Widow or Ash in conjunction with another DPS hero. We've seen Pharah played on this map very exclusively today, as a matter of fact. Tank setups, defensively, I want to see double shield. That's what really is required here, especially if you're going into said double sniper comp. They're not going to be able to burst through your shield, and you're be able to hold your ground as well. The supports is what I'm going to be really looking at, though. Apart from the tank line, I really want to see what are we seeing from the support line. I like Bat Brig. We've seen it where people try to run a Mercy. If the Mercy gets fragged out, you're done. And that's automatic point pressure coming against you.
It's automatic point pressure coming against you entirely. Still indeed waiting for the teams to get set up so we can get into the fight that is Rialto. But there's a lot of different things that you can be seeing here. I do think that the Reinhardt is going to take a bit of a back burner for these players. We already mentioned the double shield. It's also going to be a question of whether we might be seeing once again, to just always mention, because this is going to be coming up honestly every single time, your favorite dive. Because I do indeed also like seeing that one come through, and I do feel on Rialto, especially those first 2 points, it honestly gets a bit underutilized.
Indeed, it just depends on who you pair with Winston. Are you going to bring the Wrecking Ball with Winston, or are you going to bring D.Va to be able to contest high ground? You can do the same thing with Wrecking Ball with a little bit more utility other than the damage mitigation that D.Va's defense matrix brings. So we've seen the Winston Zarya variant come out today and actually worked pretty well while they ran it. We've also seen, obviously, the metal dive coming out with Winston Wrecking Ball on Oasis. So, yeah, I love dive. If I want to see it on attack, I think you go full dive. Maybe swapping out the Tracer for a Pharah.
Potentially, yeah. Getting that aerial control can definitely be very useful. Also, if I look indeed both at the team sheets, it is very much also a thing that Karnage, who won the initial map, has Rialto as their favorite map, whereas Synergy has put down Junkertown. And it was Synergy's map pick to get the next map set up. So I'm honestly surprised that they managed to pick out the map that is the opposing team's favorite. So this might be playing a bit into the hands of the enemy and could potentially give them a fair bit of issues.
It could, or they may be calling Carnage's bluff and saying, "Why is Rialto your favorite?" Maybe it isn't really their favorite. This is all part of the mental game. Seriously, I mean, we didn't use these kind of sheets in my former league, and so you never knew what kind of maps people preferred. So it's kind of a mental game here. Do you put down your favorite character, or do you put down a character that fits the slot but maybe is not your favorite indeed? And that gets into the people's heads when they go to look at the sheet that you provide to the other team and say, "Oh, they're not playing this hero. Why?"
Yeah, that is absolutely one thing to keep in mind. The mental game is such a big one to just get into the head of your enemy, and it's also one thing that we've mentioned time and time again is keeping the focus as well, especially if you're in a long series. We just had a 5-mapper. It's the question whether we're going to be getting into this. You've got the first map where you usually have the warm-up, because even if you scrim, even if you warm up outside of the game, it's always different than when you are actually in game in the tournament. That's going to be feeling different. So you've got that first map where you really need to start feeling that click, and that needs to go into the future maps, that needs to go into the future rounds to keep that focus up and to keep that team play going. And through those mental games and through the mental fortitude that the teams may have, that is where you usually also see the victories coming through.
Absolutely. But one thing I want to mention is that Carnage brought out Rhine Sigma on Nepal. So
Yes.
why not bring that out for the attack again? It satisfies the double shield variant. The only thing that you don't have is that hook ability from the Orisa, or the halt ability from the Orisa. But you have the pure aggression coming out from Sigma and from Rhine. Their two shields are two of the strongest shields in the game. So I think aggressing out, especially utilizing Oogie Boogie's experimental barrier, I think that using that as the mobile shield and then keeping the static shield less mobile than the Reinhardt shield, I think that you can actually aggress right across that bridge as quick as you like. You just have to watch out for Resident Khan's halt, but that's on cooldown.
That is indeed going to be the question. The defense is going to be setting up from this side of Synergy with double shield, Ashe, Torbjorn, Baptiste, and Brigitte. So very, very meta.
Indeed, I like this. Where are you going to set up the crossfire? That's the first thing. I don't know if you necessarily set up your Torbjorn turret up here on the balcony of the hotel. Maybe put it off to the right side as you're looking down the sightlines here to get that crossfire from behind.
Could potentially be a good play. It is going to indeed be the runner from Poppy's upcoming Karnage. You got Mikey P, interestingly enough, on the Widowmaker. As the turret already gets taken out, and Mikey is looking for those dome shots on the Ashe, manages to find it. A nice clean sightline, and now it is a green light for the team in red to start pushing on Coup. Now you're at this initial choke, and the turret is set up, so Poppy's up is going to have a bit of trouble, but Super Destroyer is going to make sure that there's nothing in the way for Poppy's up to just keep on walking forward. Karnage just moving on out. The payload gets a bit forgotten for a second, but they are going to get back to that one, keep that one going. Synergy looking to get the recontest just ever so slightly late, potentially trying to get that advantage with the spawns, trying to get that defensive spawn advantage. Somebody, the turret gets taken out, and you've got the Torbjorn also a bit out of position, though. Roman's gonna take out Poppy's up here, managing to pull this one on back, going fairly aggressive here with this double shield composition. Now one of the tanks already down, as Briddock also drops. That's going to be the offense push back.
Absolutely, and Rabo getting ultra aggressive there, having the gravitic grasp there and being able to pull it all that damage in and still throw the hyperspheres out there, getting the experimental barrier out. We're going to go ahead and pop sights here and maybe take care of that turret and then get the lines of sight and see if you can get a frag out here and start aggressing here. You got it almost all the way through the point there, and Gravitic Flux is going to be a nice entry ultimate going into this.
Going to be the question whether it is going to be happening. There's going to be the rally actually that is going to deny the Gravitic Flux, as Oogie Boogie and Poppies are both just kind of dropped down. Even the res is not going to be enough here. Still going to be forced to try and group up.
Indeed, I mean, Mikey is doing their job on the Widowmaker, getting lots of damage in, getting headshots where applicable, but I don't think that they have enough of the push to go in here. I think that you need to invest one of these tank ultimates to kind of crack open the playing field, and maybe Super Destroyer bringing a tire from behind might be another way to aggress and address the tank situation on the point.
Karnage indeed looking to get some extra damage on out. The Pharah comes out to play along with that damage boost from the Mercy. Nice accretion that just manages to skirt next to the shields. As the amplification matrix comes in out, that's going to be a lot of damage potential coming on through. Super Destroyer manages to get one. This shatter goes into a shield. The Molten Core somewhere in the tiny room, but as the Gravitic Flux picks up 2, there's barely anyone left to try and hold on to this point. There's 1 Sigma to go, and that is going to be a payload capture.
Absolutely, and you know, the one ultimate really devoted to that was the Gravitic Flux. That's the one that really ended the entire pull there, and the sustain that was being delivered by Synergy there. Karnage is actually getting some nice push around this corner now, and you've still got that Riptire available to you. Mikey P coming up close to a barrage here, probably in the next fight and a half. And Valkyrie could also be used to good effect here to kind of facilitate Mikey getting this damage done.
Turret already gets taken out. Karnage indeed looking to get that push in. Gravitic Flux comes on out. The Mortality Field has already been used, so a lot of damage coming out, but Hooded Rolf gets taken out by the Riptires. So the side of Synergy does not have any Immortality Field anymore, or a whole bunch of healing. Supercharger comes out, and a lot of damage potential for the defense now. Synergy is still managing to clear this out. Mikey P from on high manages to pick up 2 after the res from Rain, so they're still in this fight. But Bob says, no, you're not going to be in this fight. You're going to get taken out as Absolute Helmet just jumps into the backline, tries to clear this one out, gets a rock to the face and cleared out. Karnage is not giving this fight up easily. They're still in it. The reinforcements are coming on through, and somehow Synergy is still getting pushed back. Poppy's up has returned. Mikey P is coming back as well. The barrage as online is gonna be used soon. Is just sneaking up for it. That is where it comes in. Picks up 1, picks up 2. That is 1 support, 1 DPS down. Absolute Helmet's turret is still alive though, so that is still getting valid as the amplification matrix gets dropped. So does the rest of Karnage, and Synergy holds on to the point.
Absolutely, and I think now you've gotten the value out of the Pharah. I think maybe a little bit of a swap might be required here. Maybe bringing up. Yep. As I say that, they go ahead and swap over to the Sombra. I like this pick. But now, seeing where Synergy is setting up, I love this high ground setup. It stops the aggression coming from both the high ground and the low ground, as you can rain down hell on top of them, but they retreat back to the payload and give up that awesome positioning that they had set up there. Popsnap's going to have a shatter, and Gravitic Flux is also available to Oogie Boogie.
Gravitic Flux comes on in, and a lot of members is kind of skirting the roofs there. The Immortality Field is going to make sure that everyone stays perfectly fine and alive. IKP though managing to once again pick up those early DPS picks here, trying to get that EMP up and going. You still have 40 seconds to go. Some interesting shield usage, but not enough. Briddock is gonna get taken out. The res does come on through, so you still will have that healing, but there's so much damage getting pumped into the shields as the supercharger is on the floor. Robo in the back line, and now with 3 picks and 20 seconds to go, it's looking like Synergy is trying to hold on to this defense.
Yeah, absolutely, and I'm not sure why with the supercharger you just don't kite behind the building and let the damage boost go through, and then start to aggress in there. You've got your positioning, you've got your lives, you've got your health, you've got everything that you need. And I mean, last minute contested to come here, but that's a great spy out coming from Immense Gore. That is a huge little flail that took Mikey out of their concealment, and a sense of surprise is not going to be there for them.
Destroyers, Reptile gets taken out, though we have a trade. It is still not done yet. Res comes on through. Mikey P is going to be coming on back. Rabbinic Flux comes in, but not everyone is off the payload, so there's still potential to hold on to this. 2 more drop. Synergy getting all of the kills. Mikey P trying to get that EMP, fights forward, but there's nobody around to really commit this fight, to really close it one on out. Mikey P gets taken out, overtime burns down. That's Synergy holding on to defense before the second checkpoint.
I mean, that was a great hold. I mean, I thought they had lost it there, but just the unwillingness to give an inch. Bringing the Brigitte out also really beefing up their defenses, and the Immortality Field paired with Rally really kept them up through a couple of those mid fights. And you love to see the hold there before the third point. I don't think we've seen the third point all day, Belly. So we're not going to see it again. Maybe we might not even see the second point, depending on what kind of defense that we're going to see from Karnage here.
It's a shame, because like the designers of Overwatch have put a lot of effort into creating this last point, and we just don't get to enjoy all of that artistic creation. And it's just, I mean, come on, guys. There's effort put into that, and you're not even allowing us to see it. I'm very disappointed.
I can feel that. I can feel that in your voice. It's being transmitted across the airwaves. But as it stands, there's a win condition set for Synergy here. Bringing out the Pharah again. I like that. And then Mikey P, we have not seen them on the Echo yet. So that could play a very vital part into their defense. That focusing beam, as we all know now. Once a character gets below 50% of their HP, that focusing beam does more damage. And double shield plus the Mercy and the Baptiste to keep the team up.
So again, you get that difference between the Mercy and the Brigitte coming on in. Robo is already going fairly aggressive and indeed just taking control of this corner. Absolute Hellman gets taken out by way of concussive blast here from the Pharah. As your 2 basic hits on the high ground, manages to get a nice dynamite, and that's so much damage. And the Boogie gets taken out. You lose one of your major shields and one of your pressure creators. The rest does come on through, but this Mercy drops low, drops dead. As your 2 basic is on the high ground trying to contest this. Mikey B is gonna get the focus beam on out. Field has already been used. Karnage does seem to be picking up their kills, does seem to be managing to stabilize this one on out, even if the turret is to the side. That will be indeed Karnage holding on to the point.
Indeed, those are late stagger kills, and I think he threw his Immortality Barrier out, so that's going to be on cooldown. So it's not going to be available if Karnage decide to get aggressive here. That's a late little maybe flub or maybe panic use of that cooldown. And like I said, if they decide to go a little aggressive with this, they're not going to have that available to them. Bravo does have the Shatter online. Rally available here probably in the next 30 seconds. So we want to see, are they going to aggress with that going into this next fight?
Destroyer takes a bit of poke damage, but manages to get back to safety. As your 2 basic is just trying to pop some heads here. Managed to really clear this one out. Resonant Khan drops Shatter, also gets put down, but lands into his shield. The Super Destroyer picks up 2 more kills. This is 1 more attack denied for the offense of Synergy. Still have 2 minutes to clear this one out, but this time is starting to dwindle.
Absolutely, and I mean, Ultimate Economy right now is the name of the game. They're not really having to use anything to win these fights. It's just pure DPS aggression and really focused fire coming out from everybody. A target is halted or a target is rocked, and everybody pounces upon it. And the only one that's not really available right now is Brydoc's Amplification Matrix. I don't think he's had to do enough healing really to warrant having to use it.
Now with this barrage picks up 3. Even if you lose the Pharah in this fight, you've already won it. And the rest comes on through as well. You're still at a 6v1 at this point. It's going to be the question whether Rob will even manage to make it out. No, that's going to be a quick clear up. That is one hefty fight win here. 1 minute and 15 seconds on the clock, Bailey.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, I mean, there is a chance here for Synergy to really do some damage. Putting the Molten Core through an amplification matrix would really beef up the value of that ultimate. And it may burn down not only his shielding, but the cooldowns of Karnage. So you want to see, how are they going to aggress here? And I mean, Bob going through this might be good as well. So as we see that going through, Super Destroyer, the trades have come through, but the Molten Core has done its job indeed. Super Destroyer is absolutely raining some help here, but he has no options right now. He has nobody to heal him. Belly, this is a fight turning on its head right now. 47 seconds left on the clock. What are we going to do here?
Karnage is trying to clear this one out. Indeed, the duplicate comes as well through for a Mikey P. And with indeed less than 20 seconds to go, Synergy has got to group up rapidly to try and get anything done. Mikey P still trying to just get some value here for the duplicate. Manages to get still out by the end. We hear the 10 seconds remaining. Voice up on high. Resident Khan gets taken out. Can anyone still make such a point? It's going to be a bomb. And Brigitte on point. Robert gets to the side. Gravitic Flux comes on up. Overtime's going to burn down, but not fast enough. Field keeps everyone alive. Bob takes one down. Bowers in the back. Picks up two. And with that, the kills are in favor of Karnage. Overtime burns down. And Karnage pick up their second map point.
That was a DPS heavy defense there. What great support coming out from Karnage's healers as well. And just, I mean, letting them do their job, taking the space that was needed, being able to get into positions of power, and the sight lines that was just being shown. I mean, I thought this was going to be the push that was going to get Synergy the first point with that Molten Core going through the amplification matrix, but just not enough follow-up behind it. Super Destroyer absolutely clicking heads with the Pharah, getting such great sight lines and keeping really high in the skybox, not being able to be burst down by anybody from Synergy. I think that's the difference in your map there as they go up 2-0. And I'm looking forward to see what map we're going to go to next, Belly.
That is absolutely going to be the question. Some very great positioning and play from Karnage. However, after two maps, we are indeed going to have to wait at what the next map is going to be. Before we get to that, we are going to take a short break. So don't go anywhere. We're going to be right back.
So you queue up for Overwatch Ranked, only to be greeted by this, which then leads to this, and oh no, Reinhardt, what are you doing? The solution? Elo Hell pickup games.
Hey, you know what? Just fucking do it.
Oh my god, it's huge! Oh no! Kill! Let's go!
Open to players of all ranks and most platforms, Pugs give you the chance to experience competitive Overwatch as it was meant to be played. Competitively.
I need help.
I'm with you.
Shoot.
No way, dude.
Go. Let's go. Nice. Good call.
Players set their icons to indicate the role they want to play, then 2 captains pick their teammates and draft the most competitive teams they can. You can also take part in our pioneering learning event, Coached Pugs. To take part, join the Elo Hell Pickup Games Discord, and be sure to read the Pug Guide and FAQ. Good luck, have fun, and we'll see you in-game.
Hello and welcome back once again to Elo Hell's GitGud Season 5 on console, where we are looking on the Xbox side of the console, seeing Synergy versus Karnage. It's a 2-0 lead for Karnage. We are at map point, we are at match point, I apologize, for Karnage, which is going to be King's Row that we are going to be seeing, or Scrimzo as we like to call it. I will be Belly on the play-by-play, and with me on color is the amazing Chef Belly to give you the coverage for this potentially final map in the series. Yeah. So, as we indeed get King's Row to come out for our next map, we get those close quarters of fights. And Karnage has been coming out very, very clutch here, very, very well. And it's going to be the question whether they're going to be able to clear this one on out. Will they not, Billy? I think we've got some technical difficulties. So we're gonna try our best to hope that Billy comes back with us soon, because I mean we cannot miss his amazing voice for this series. We are gonna need his awesome input to come out on here. As we head into King's Row, as we head into the British town aside the British city center that we get to watch here, and we get to have a bit of a look at the theater. We are going to be waiting out what these teams want to be putting out to the table. Synergy on the defense, Karnage on the offense, and that's going to be the question whether Double Shield is going to come on through, but it does look like Brawl is going to be the flavor of the day.
Indeed it does. Sorry about that. Had a little bit of a lag spike here on my side. Getting a little bit hot here in the center of the States. And sometimes that affects my internet abilities. However, we do see Brawl coming out from the offense, coming out with a Rhine Sigma. We've seen that pretty steady today coming out of Karnage. Mikey P also showing the ability to pop heads. I like the pick of Junkrat, though, coming out onto the Junkrat, being able to have a little spam damage. In the support department, though, I think that's a little sus for me. I think maybe if you bring in detail might be able to help enable this Brawl.
Does look like that might be helping. What is also not going to be helping is the Maywall, as already 2 picks in favor of Karnage. We got Mikey P clicking heads here, or at the very least getting those heads taken off of the shoulders. Does not manage to get that final pick, but the rest of the team is right at the ready with Super Destroyer picking up 3 or 4 in this fight, and that's going to be an incredibly quick point A grab. As the team from Karnage is looking to clear this one on out. They do have point A. Payload starts on moving. Synergy still looking to build up their ultimates. Karnage will have a visor coming on out, and the Coalescence as well from Briddock getting ready to be put out. So you've got a lot of pushing potential that could be coming out here. The wall does not manage to zone anyone on out. Oogie Boogie with the accretion, not going to find anyone either. The Zarya bubbles are very much going to make sure that Robbo is gonna be able to get all of that charging in, but it's still lagging a bit behind because of those shields to get the Gravitic Flux up. Resident Khan does have the Shatter though, but shatters into a shield, so no value found there. The other side, Karnage still trying to push through this choke. They're gonna have to aggress at some point. You've got the Coalescence, potentially gonna be coming on out, and it's gonna be the Riptide that comes out first, pulls out the Sound Barrier in fact. So now the Coalescence from Absolute Helmet is gonna get shattered to the floor. Gravitic Flux, everyone up into the sky, down into the ground. The Khan will be the first to drop, but we still have 2 supports. It's kind of lagging around the point. But with that all being said, Karnage now with a fair few picks in the wall just to call the retreat for Synergy as they try to rethink their effort. Karnage still with the control of the point. They do need to keep 1 player on the payload to keep it moving. It's gonna be a good idea to keep that one on up. Super Destroyer waiting it out on the high ground with a damage boosted Widowmaker on the side, trying to find those heads. Almost manages to pick up the Zarya. Does not manage to in the end. The bubbles still keeping that Russian tank safe. Synergy getting a nice hold here, getting that early pick, but no, Mikey P once again with the opening pick. Hooded Wolf is gone. There's going to be a Graviton Surge used, but there was no follow-up. The kill still well in favor of Karnage. The charge comes on through, pulls out the bubble to make sure that that headshot from Mikey P clears this fight on out, and even the Mercy is getting in on the battle and will be getting some pistol shots on out. A bit of BM from Reno on this late fight, and that payload is moving on forward. A 5-minute time bank to go for the defensive Synergy. As Super Destroyer is just grabbing this initial pick. Hooded Wolf is just not getting any time of day, is not getting to see the light outside of the spawn room. Super Destroyer with a 3rd pick here. Synergy not really finding their play together to really get this push ongoing. The payload still moving forward halfway across this final point already. Once again, he needs someone on this payload, but Super Destroyer on his high ground, being able to just keep on pumping out damage. It's going to be Mora Orb once again taking out that early pick. So much damage getting dealt with. So much damage getting dealt. It's going to be teleported. 10, but Mikey P gets the headshot once again. A Blizzard, is that going to be enough? Along with the Coalescence actually from Burdock is going to make sure that the team stays alive, and double kill with the Riptire. And this is looking like it's all she wrote for Synergy as they keep on losing players. So Shatter comes in through, 1 kill. It's gonna be a Death Blossom, picks up 2 as well, but it's gonna but with those final picks, finally Synergy manages to hold on to the point, though there's still Mikey P trying to get some pot shots in, is forced to retreat. Karnage has a Shatter. Will be having to decide that that is not really one that apparently Mikey P needs, as he once again picks off that early pick onto Robo, and immediately Karnage is looking to go forward. The Shatter comes on in, but it was a bit obvious, so the Shatter does get blocked. No real value gotten for that one, as the rest of the reinforcements will be coming on through. Pop is up, dropping a bit low. This is where the sides come on in, so you can spot out the Tracer. A wonderful shot there as Mikey P gets the kill, but once again, those Moira Orbs that get the picks. Mikey P is just destroying at this point on the Widowmaker, still keeping that hero alive on the final point here, and trying to just keep the team in the fight. We're down to sub 3 minutes for this point, but this is still possible for Karnage to bring this one too close. It's also still possible for Synergy with 3 ultimates at the ready to keep this fight going. And as Hooded Wolf once again drops early, you lose on that Sound Barrier. The Karnage doesn't really have any ultimate to clear this one out. Will pop out the Valkyrie. Riddock also has the Coalescence. It's going to get popped as well to keep everyone safe through this Graviton Surge. And as the kills are once again coming in favor of Karnage, they are picking up all of the kills, just a few stragglers. Sarda's going to try to get in from the back, as Lucius also just trying to stagger this one out, uses the sound bar to just keep this fight alive. It's going to be a Gravitic Flux, pulling everyone up. The payload does not move extra forward. 2 kills for Oogie Boogie as the Tara comes in from the back. Is that going to be enough? There's still staggers. This is going to be a Reaper on point, but no, Mikey P clears this one out. 2 minutes in the time bank for the pool push for Karnage.
That was absolutely crazy. Watching the DPS from Karnage just having their way. Mikey P on the Widowmaker there on the last point, especially just clicking heads and taking names. And I got to watch it as a fan, as my internet decided it did not like me at the moment. Oh
yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, it still seems indeed like we still unfortunately have some technical difficulties for Billy. We hope once again Billy is gonna be coming back in sooner rather than later, because naturally and doing this on my own is pretty rough, so I would love the Color Caster to come back. However, now seeing these teams swap it around, we've got a 2-minute time bank for Karnage to get the hold on in. Synergy is going to try and bring this one back. Karnage once again with this Reinhardt Sigma composition. Mikey P this time off the Widowmaker, going for that Sombra, having already found a lot of value with the Widowmaker, but already also found a lot of value on the Sombra. Being able to get those EMPs up, get those hacks out, and get those kills in. And Synergy indeed on their own side are gonna be trying to get the kills. Resident Khan's already gonna get taken out early, and with Super Destroyer with those mines, getting the damage done, getting the picks on in. Karnage getting a fairly good hold. Karnage indeed gets a nice forward hold here. Early bubbles here from Synergy is forcing out a defensive play, as well as the hack coming on in on Resident Khan. Super Destroyer once again takes out that main healer, gets out a second as well. And with a third Super Destroyer looking to clear this enemy team on out entirely. Karnage looking good in their defense.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, getting them pushed up into the point here and them being able to just really repel what Synergy is trying to pull into them is making immense speed of what they're trying to do. I do
with 2 support picks already, it is looking rough for Karnage to clear this one, rough for Synergy to clear this one on out, as indeed the picks come on in. Synergy looking like they've got a bit of trouble here to try and get the push in. It's 2 minutes and 10 seconds to go. Still have a few fights. You've got a Shatter, you've got a Coalescence, and especially you've got the Nano as Immense Gore is trying to build up this blade. That could be a massive win condition if they manage to get that one out before Mikey P gets the EMP in. Immense Gore is already gonna get hacked out, so is not gonna be able to really get any value for that one, as your 2 basic gets taken out as well. You lose so much damage. The Coalescence gets popped early. And Karnage has got essentially all 6 golden buttons right and ready to take this fight. Shadow comes on in. Graviton's Surge comes on through to try and deny it. And EMP, very early on, does manage to take out a few kills. It's a minute and a half to go. But Synergy still has that Nano Blade on the board.
Indeed, and you've got Tyre to be able to regress and repel what Synergy are trying to do here. Karnage really has a big ultimate deficit on their side. I really want to see how do they deploy this Nano Blade when they get it online.
Going to be the question. They do have everything right on up. Super Destroyer looking to get the Tyrant in. That's going to be the Tyrant getting used. Finds 2. There's no Nano. Bullet Wolf gets taken out, so it's just going to be a Dry Blade, and Immense Gore is already forced to take this fight on back. That was a massive win condition denied by 1 Riptire.
Oh my goodness, I mean, that absolutely stopped them in the tracks, but they still might have the ability to get in there and get some real damage done. Your basically
very much seem to be having the ability to get some damage done, though Immense Gore already getting taken out. Synergy still has 4 ultimates at the ready. Immense Gore is going to swap over to the bridge to just try to get in. That's going to be a Death Blossom picking up 2. That would be the opening that the offense was looking for. The EMP comes on in, finds 5. However, there's nobody left to follow up on it. Your 2 basic is still going to get hacked out. However, in overtime, it does look like Synergy is going to pick up point A.
Or on the ball.
Objective
We shall see
the payload.
what is
Synergy is indeed trying to move forward here, as Karnage is going to have to try and set up their defense. And it does indeed seem that Karnage does potentially get a bit of an earlier hold here around a bookstore. So that is at the very least going to give you the potential to get a few more fights in. Some early bubbles here to give that aggression onto Resident Can. There's also a Graviton Surge available for Robbo. Karnage indeed looking to get some good defense in. That is going to be the Graviton Surge coming on out. It's going to be an attempt at a counter shot that doesn't really find anything. You're too basic now, just pushing on forward. Robbo picking up another kill, and that is going to be a super jumping mercy just getting ever so slightly out the way. But Karnage looking rough here on their defense on first street phase. Indeed, Synergy moving on forward. The rest will come on through. A nice shield here to try and defend this. And once again, there's a Tyre here to grab 2 picks. To grab 2 massive picks. Who did a Wolf almost had the Nano at the ready, but Mikey P once again getting a few kills, gets EMP ready. It's 1 minute to go, and Karnage is looking to clear this one out.
60 seconds.
As Synergy is trying to group back up to get this fight ongoing. The Nano is right at the ready, so is the Shatter. And with that, you do have an opening pick, but Karnage really has one massive ace up their sleeve in the EMP from Mikey P. And that is going to be a massive potential fight win here. Shatter comes on through from Resident Cat and Nano as well. It's going to be Mikey P getting slapped in the backline, though not before, but the EMP does not get used just yet. Poppy Soft goes down. Mikey P uses the EMP, finds two, finds a couple. It's going to be res onto Poppy Soft, the Gravitic Flux as well, pulling nobody up at this point. As Immense Gore also uses an EMP that finds for a massive anti as well. Drops everyone so low, but nobody dies off of it. The healing still comes on through with the Graviton Surge with nobody around to follow up on it. That is not going to get you the value that you want. It's just a few more seconds ago. Poppy's up with a double kill on the Fire Strike. That's going to be Mikey P getting one more kill. The hack comes on through onto your basic. You're not going to be able to rainform your way out of this one. Overtime starts burning down. Karnage clears it out with a nice 3-0 victory.
Indeed, that was a clean as you like victory there coming from Karnage. My internet decided that it does not like me anymore. And yeah, so I mean, just a dominating performance all around. That EMP was so beneficial and so crucial for them to stop the aggression even after the shatter that was put out there by Synergy. That is the game changer. Mikey P on the Sombra, absolutely a hero all day with the hacks and the EMPs coming out. I got to say, that would be my player of the match for me today.
Oh, absolutely. I would 100% agree. EMPs and hacks too strong that even production starts to get issues. That we get such a nice Sombra play that we unfortunately don't get to see often enough. So I'm happy that the Sombra gets a play time through a Mikey P in this series. And that was indeed the series. Karnage clears it out 3-0, manages to get the full clean sweep, and that will be indeed also this series and this GitGud matchup that we had for you today for console. That does not mean that we're done with Overwatch for this weekend. Naturally, there's all these amazing things like Open Division and everything else going on, but there's some more GitGud action coming on later. There is GitGud NA just coming on straight. I'm pretty sure there's also a console NA still coming up later. There's more GitGud tomorrow as well with playoffs and with finals. There is so much more Overwatch content that we get to go over this weekend. And I'm pretty sure, buddy, you get to be part of a few of those, are you not?
Yeah, I'll be back tonight with the grand finals for GitGud PC, starting from, I believe, at 7 p.m. Eastern, I think.
Well, so note that time down. Make sure to check it on out and tune in for all of the good Overwatch. And then we, I would indeed like to end this out with a few thank yous, obviously, to my amazing co-caster Billy for tonight, Bullskunk on the camera work, Cynthia actually coming out clutch on the production, as indeed we were dealing with some other technical difficulties that we unfortunately could not get our original producer Zathon on in, though still thank you to both of those. The moderators as well, a big thank you always to the moderators. Chat, make sure to thank your moderators. Connor for the lobbies, rugby for the earlier lobby. So thank you, love you to everyone. And with that, we're clearing this out. So I'd like to end it indeed on the note of I hope you all have a wonderful evening. Tune in next time. Always the wise words of Brian W. Foster. Don't forget to love each other. Have a wonderful day. And we will see you next time.
Bye, guys.